In this lecture, we are going to see about authentication applications. So we all know what is authentication. It is nothing but it which is used to prove the identity of another person, one person to another person. So there must be some applications to provide that authentication service request. So there are two main authentication applications. One is Herberos and the second one is X.509. So both are like authentication protocol or authentication service or authentication application. We can call it as anything. So we will see one by one. Let us start with the authentication applications. So it will consider authentication functions, right? There are three functions in authentication. One is message encryption, hash functions, and MAC, message authentication code. So authentication application should consider the functions of authentications, right? To provide the particular protocol for providing authentication service request, and it was developed to support application level authentication and digital signatures. So the main authentication application is Herberos. Herberos is a private key authentication service or authentication protocol or authentication applications. So again, next application is X.509. It is also authentication service. Let us start with Herberos. It is an authentication application or service. In Greek mythology, the Herberos is a many-headed dog which was the guardian of entrance of Hades. That's only the name Herberos was given to the authentication protocol or application. So why Herberos is needed? The problem in our network is due to not trusted workstation. It was very difficult to identify the user correctly in an open distributed environment. Right, this is a problem usually in our network. So there are some threats in over the network during transmission or communication. The threats are the normal or common threats are pretending to be another user from the workstation. The second threat is sending request from the unauthorized person or unauthorized workstation or domain. Third threat is replay attack. That was coming from any other third party which was unaware between sender and receiver. So these are the common threats to be occurred in a open distributed environment. So we need a solution to recover from that. So the solution is we have to build the authentication protocol at each server. That authentication protocol is nothing but Herberos, right? So let us see the brief introduction about Herberos. So Herberos is an authentication protocol which was used by many OS, and it is a protocol for authenticating service request between trusted host over an untrusted network like an internet. So it is the trusted key service system from MIT, and it provides centralized private key third party authentication in a distributed network. So the Herberos allows each and every individual user access to the service distributed throughout the network, and it can provide the service request without needing to trust all workstations. So and the efficiency also improved in this authentication protocol Herberos. So in Herberos there are two versions. One is version 4 and version 5. Herberos version 4, Herberos version 5. So Herberos provides the centralized authentication server to authenticate the user to access the service request. And it relies on conventional encryption, making no use of public key encryption, right? Which means Herberos using the symmetric key encryption. There is no need or use of public key encryption. So two versions, and version 4 use data encryption standard, DES algorithm concept. We all know DES is the symmetric encryption, right? So what are the requirements of Herberos? There are four requirements: secure, reliable, transparent, and scalable. Secure means an opponent does not find it to be the weak link, right? Then only the communication should be secure. Second one is reliable. The system should be able to back up the another one, right? That is reliable. Transparent. The user should not be aware of authentication. Last one, scalable. The system also supports large number of clients and servers. So these are the four requirements for Herberos. the same requirements concept, but Herberos is a pure private key scheme, right? Already we said this is an symmetric encryption. There is no use of asymmetric key encryption. So in Herberos version 4, there are 3-step improvements. The first, they are developing a simple authentication dialog for Herberos version 4. Then there is some problem in simple authentication dialog, so they have make some modification in that. Then they have to be developed another one, that is AES plus TGS model. AES is nothing but authentication server, and TGS means ticket granting service or ticket granting server, anything. The last one is version 4 model. We'll see one by one. The first one is simple authentication dialog. So it is nothing but they have to enter the password for each server. The password is nothing but normal plain text, right? So it can be tracked by any third party. So the second improvement is AS plus TGS model. Here also the user enter the password once for multiple servers, and here the difficulty is in choosing the lifetime of the particular password, right? So the last one is version 4 model. Here version 4 model uses private session keys, and also it verify the server, each and every individual server. AES authentication server is the KDC, key distribution center, and TGS is the KDC for C, V. Here C is client and V is another receiver server. So this is Herberos 4 overview. It is a basic third-party authentication scheme. There are two important points in Herberos 4, that is AES and TGS. Authentication server, you should have ticket granting server. So AES is nothing but user initially intimate with AES to identify self, right? So after that, AES provides the authentication credential. It's nothing but ticket. Initially the client requests some ticket to the AES. After receiving the request from client, AES send some ticket to the particular client. That is the concept of authentication server. So the second one is ticket granting server. Here also the user subsequently send the request to TGS to access the service from TGS on the basis of the user ticket granting service, ticket granting ticket. So these are some of the key values which are used in Herberos version 4 model. C is a client, AES is authentication server, V is a server, IDC identifier of user on C, because client may be anything or anywhere. IDV identifier of V is a server. PC means password, ADC network address, K is the secret encryption key, T is timestamp, and this is the concatenation operator. So these are the key values to be used in each and every conversation dialog in Herberos version 4. So this is the simple authentication dialog. Already I said in Herberos version 4 there are 3 improvements. One is simple authentication dialog, second one is AES plus TGS, last one is Herberos version 4. So the first one is simple authentication dialog. In the word sense, it is very simple conversation between client and server. So initially client sends some request to AES, then AES send some reply to C. After that, C communicate with V. So this is the simple authentication dialog. So what are the information to be passed between C and AES, AES and V, and C and V? We will see. Initially, client send a request with identifier of C and password of the user on C and identifier of V, server. So the client send the identifier of server, identifier of client, and password of C. After getting the reply from request from client, AES communicate with C by granting a ticket. So ticket is nothing but the ticket has to be encrypted with the secret key KV. KV is nothing but key value of server. So what are the informations to be encrypted, like IDC, PC, IDF? So these 3 information sent from client side. So the both identity value of client and server and password of C, both 3 values, above 3 values should be encrypted by AES with the key value of server. So the ticket is generated by AES and sent to C. After receiving the ticket by C, the client communicate with the server V by passing the ticket from C to V. So C to B, the information is passed like IDC concatenation ticket. So IDC is nothing but identifier value of C, and a ticket means in the below they have to indicate the value of ticket. So this is the simple authentication conversation dialogue, conversation between client and server. So the next one is authentication version 4 authentication dialog, which means in this simple authentication dialog there are some problems, so that only they are going with the second one. So the first one is simple authentication dialog. This is a simple authentication dialog. So in this there are some problems, so they are going with the second one, AES plus TGS model. We will see. So the problems in the above simple authentication dialogues are the lifetime only. So if the lifetime is too short means the password is repeatedly asked. But if the lifetime is too long, then it is a greater opportunity for the replay attack. So these are the problems in simple authentication dialog. So the Herber is going with the another method, that is second one, AES plus TGS model. So you can clearly see that the conversation can be differ from the first one. In the first one there are 3 dialogues only. C communicate with AES communicate with C, and C communicate with V. Here there are 6 conversations. So the first one, the first step, second step, and the last 5th step is same. But additionally they have to be added 3 steps by introducing a new server, TGS, ticket granting service or ticket granting server. So the same concept, initially client communicate with authentication server by sending some information, and authentication server communicate with C by granting the ticket. So after that client communicate with TGS, ticket granting service. So again TGS, the ticket TGS send from authentication server, which was sent from client to TGS, right? So again TGS communicate with C with encryption concept, with encrypting with the value of the client value. So in the last step, C communicate with the server by sending the ticket V and the authenticator C. So authenticator C is the value of TGS, ticket V is the value of TGS from C. So in finally the server communicate with client by encrypting some values TGS with the key value of both client and server. So this is the conversation dialogue of the second method, AES and TGS model. So this is the concept or overview of Herberos. There are 6 steps are there. They are given the number, so then you can easily understand. So the first number is the first communication, second number is second communication, like so on. So the first step, you can clearly see that in the second leftmost diagram. So the person logs on to the workstation system and requests some service on host. So the arrow mark sent to the Herberos. You can clearly see that in the Herberos is a single domain or authentication protocol. In Herberos they are using 2 important points. One is authentication server and second one is ticket granting server. So the Herberos using 2 server. One is authentication server and ticket granting server. So the user sends some request to authentication server in Herberos domain. So then authentication server send some reply to the arrow mark send from AES to user. So that is ticket plus session key. So the AES send some ticket with some session key, right? After receiving the ticket and session key, the user request TGS to granting some ticket. Again TGS sending some ticket and session key to user. After that user request service from the server, and finally server provide the service to the client. So these are the 6 steps. You can see that here, right? Client communicate with AES initially, the first arrow mark. Then AES communicate with C, the second arrow mark coming from AES to user. The third conversation C to TGS. So client to TGS, third arrow mark. Fourth arrow mark from TGS to client, TGS to C. Fifth one is client to server. So the fifth arrow mark from user to server, and again last arrow mark coming from server to user. So these are the 6 steps can be represented in a diagrammatic format. So the first step, user log on to the workstation and request some service. So second step that is represented in the above Kerberos domain, AAS authentication server verifies the user access right in database and creates the ticket and session key, and they have to be send the ticket and session key to the user in the encrypted format. So the number third, workstation prompts user for password and uses the password to decrypt the incoming message that was received from AAS, and then sends the ticket and authenticator that contains the username, network address and time to TGS, which was sent from user to TGS, ticket granting server. That is the third arrow mark. So again, fourth one, TGS decrypt the ticket that was sent from user and authenticator and verifies that request from user, then creates the ticket for requested server. Then it was sent from fourth arrow mark from TGS to user. And fifth one is the workstation sends ticket and authenticator to the server, fifth arrow mark. So the final arrow mark, sixth, represents the server verifies that ticket and authenticator should match, then it grants the service to the user which was requested from the particular user to client to server. So this is the normal concept of Kerberos. So Kerberos is the authentication protocol or application which was providing the service request to the client on getting the service request from the server. So AAS authentication server generating ticket, TGS generating authenticator, right? So there are some problems in version 4, right? Again I repeat, initially Kerberos version, Kerberos having simple authentication dialog. There are some problems, so they are going with the second one, AAS plus TGS. So this is this is Kerberos version 4 model. So in Kerberos version 4 model, there are two important problems. One is environmental shortcomings or environmental problems. Second one is technical deficiency or technical problems. So only they are going with another version, Kerberos version 4, version 5. So what is environmental shortcomings of version 4? The first one is encryption system dependence DIS, because version 4 already said version 4 uses DIS. So this is one disadvantage. Second one is internet protocol dependence. Encryption system dependence means here each and every encryption concept depend on only DIS. So this is one of the disadvantage. And a ticket lifetime, because already said lifetime is too short means some problem, lifetime is too long means also there is some problem. And authentication forwarding into REOM authentication. I said what is REOM in later. So this is environmental shortcomings of version 4. So next problem in version 4 is technical deficiency. So there are double encryption and session keys and password attacks. These are the problems to be occurred in version 4. So there are two problems in version 4. One is environmental problem and another one is technical deficiency. So for to recover those two problems, Kerberos going with another version like Kerberos version 5. So Kerberos version 5 developed in middle year of 1990s. It provides improvement of version 4. It addresses environmental shortcomings and technical deficiency. How it can recover from environmental shortcomings? By encryption algorithm, network protocol, byte order, ticket lifetime, authentication forwarding, and inter-alarm authority. So I already said I will tell what is REOM in later. So REOM concept is introduced here, version 5. REOM is nothing but a domain, another domain in that have to be used in the Kerberos concept. So to recover from technical deficiency, Kerberos version 5 using double encryption, non-standard mode of use and subsession keys. So these are the problems to be addressed by version 4, and these to be recovered from version 5 by using the concept of REOM. So the new elements in Kerberos version 5 to be introduced to recover from the problem in version 4. The first one is REOM. Indicate REOM of each and every individual user. The second one is options. Options is nothing but a value. And next one is time. In time they have to be indicated the from time until that is the expiration date, and start time of the ticket, and in which time it have to be expired. So this is times. And last one is nonce. Nonce is nothing but any value or any time right, or any bit. So this is the Kerberos version 5 message exchange dialog. It is similar to version 4, but it can different from little from version 4, because the authentication dialogues are same like version 4. Here there are only two conversation. Client directly communicate with authentication server, and authentication server send reply to client. So here version 4 using the concept realm options times and nuns. So you can see that in the conversation or communication they are using the above four options times nuns and realm. So in the reverse manner, authentication server encrypting all the above value which was sent from client by using the key value of client. So the third step, there are also some six steps. A client communicate with the AS communicate with the client, and a client communicate with the TGS communicate with the client. Finally, client communicate with the server, and last, a server send some acknowledgement to client. The same six conversations we saw in version 4, but here some of four important points to be introduced, like realm options times and nuns. So that's it. So what is Realm? So Kerberos environment consists of Kerberos server and clients. Clients are all registered with server, and application server sharing keys with server. So these are the three important persons which are involved in Kerberos environment. So Realm is nothing but it is a single administrative domain. Realm is nothing but single administrative domain. So this is realm concept. You can clearly see that in version 4, you see this diagram, there are only one Kerberos domain, right? In that particular domain having AS and TGS. This is version 4, right? But in version 5, they are using realm concept. So realm is nothing but single authentication domain. So you can clearly see that there are two domains. So domain have to be named as realm A and realm B. Realm B. So in realm A, the Kerberos can be divided into two. So in the above Kerberos, they are having AS and TGS, and below Kerberos, they are having also AS and TGS. So each and every here, client is one domain and service is another domain. But in version 4 dialog, both client, server and Kerberos all are in a single domain. But here client and Kerberos in one domain and server and Kerberos in another domain. So this is the concept of realm, but the conversations are same. Client can communicate with AS and AS replies to client, and client communicate with the TGS communicate with client. Simultaneously client communicate with AS of realm B, and TGS send reply to client from realm B. Finally, client in realm A communicate with server in realm A. The same communication to be occurred, but they are appeared in a different domain. So this is the concept of realm. So what are the differences between version 4 and version 5? Encryption system dependence. In version 4, that is mainly dependent on DES, but in version 4 it is not like that. And also internet protocol dependence, message byte ordering, ticket lifetime, because in version 4 they have to be used only lifetime only, lifetime concept only. So the lifetime is too short and too long problem is there, but in version 5 they are using many concept like options, realm, time. So many things they have to be used. So ticket lifetime is not the problem in version 5. And authentication forwarding is the problem in version 4, but it is not in version 5. And last one, inter-realm authentication. Inter-realm is not in version 4, but inter-realm concept is used in version 5. So what the Kerberos, what are the concept of Kerberos to be used in real world, like or in practical, in what are the stages Kerberos to be used? Currently have two Kerberos versions, one is 4 and 5. 4 is restricted to a single realm, right? But 5 allows inter-realm authentication in beta test. Kerberos version 5 is an internet standard specified in RFC 510, and it is used by many utilities. To use Kerberos, we have to some prerequisites. What are they? The first one is we need to have a KDC on your network, key distribution center. Second one, we need to have applications running on all participating systems. And the major problem is US export restrictions. And Kerberos cannot be directly distributed outside the US in source format. And last one is crypto libraries must be re-implemented locally. So these are the terms we have to be considered before using Kerberos. So what are the strengths in Kerberos? The first one is users' passwords are never sent across the network. Second one, secret keys. Third one, mutually authenticate. Because here client communicate with server also communicate with users. So that is mutually authenticate. And the fourth strength is it limits the duration of their users authentication. And the next strength is authentications are reusable and durable. And last strength is Kerberos have been scrutinized by many of the top programmers and cryptologists and security experts in the industry. So these are the strength of by using Kerberos. Users passwords are never sent, secret keys mutually authenticate, limits the duration, reusable and durable, scrutinized by many of the programmers. So these are the strength by using Kerberos. So authentication, one of the authentication application is over, that is Kerberos. So Kerberos is nothing but it is an authentication protocol or application to providing the service request from client to server. There are two versions, one is version 4 and version 5. In version 4 there are two problems, one is environmental shortcomings and technical deficiency, so only they are going with another version 5. So version 5 addresses the problems to be issued in version 4. So there are many strength advantages by using Kerberos. So that is one of the authentication application. So second authentication service is X.509. So it is the authentication service. In the word sense, it is used to provide the service for the request in an authentication manner, right? So it is distributed set of servers that maintains the database about all users. So each certificate contains the public key of the user and it is signed with the private key of CA. CA is nothing but certificate authority. And X.509 used in SBOR-MIME, multi-purpose internet mail extensions, IP security, SSL or TLS layer, and last one is SET, secure electronic transactions. So these all to be used by X.509. And RSA is recommended to use in X.509. So X.509 is a part of CCITT X.500 Directory Service Standards. It defines the framework. We know, right? Framework means it is a model. So it defines the framework for providing authentication service, and it also defines authentication protocols. And X.509 uses public key and digital signatures. So it defines framework, right? So this is the framework for X.509 framework, otherwise called as format. So the leftmost diagram X.509, it is a certificate for each and every individual user for granting. It was granted by CA, certificate authority. So each certificate of individual user having these concept. So initially each and every certificate having some version number, and second one is serial number, and the next one is signature algorithm identifier. So each certificate having some signature, so the signature have to be developed by some algorithm. So algorithm using parameters, so algorithm and parameters. So issuer name means that is certificate authority, that certificate is issued by one organization, right? That is called as issuer name. And each and every certificate having some period of validity, not before, not after, which means certificate issuing time and which time the certificate have to be expired. And next one is subject name. What is the subject? What is the username? What is their identity? What is the private key and public key values? And the subject's public key information. So public key information was generated by using algorithm, parameter, and key value. And the next one is issuer unique identifier. So every issuer having some unique value. And next one is subject unique identifier. Subject unique identifier is nothing but who is the holder person, that is called a subject. So this identifier indicating the value of the subject. Next one is extensions. If the certificate need more information, then we have to be added in this part, extensions. And the last one indicating the signature part. So the signature developed by some algorithm using some parameters, and the parameters are encrypted. So algorithm, parameters, and encryptor. So these are the informations to be typed or entered in each and every certificate, that is called as X.509. So in the right side they can clearly indicate the first one is version 4. The version 4 is ended with subjects public key information. So after that they are making some improvement. They are developing version 2, that is ended with subject unique identifier. Again they have to be make some improvisation. So version 3 ended with the extensions. And the last one, signature, that which was included in all versions, right? So this is certificate. Next one is certificate revocation list. Is nothing but like library. We have to take a book in library at one time. After some time we have to renewal of a book, right? So that is the same concept. Certificate revocation list. In certificate, the starting time and ending time, that is expiration time, have to be included. So after the time is expired, we have to be revoke the particular certificate from the CA, that is certificate revocation list. So in this list also having signature algorithm identifier and issuer name CA. Subject is nothing but who is the holder, and update date and next update date, in which time the certificate again have to be revoked, that time also included. And revoked certificate, next to new certificate in which have the serial number and revocation date. So this is the certificate revocation list. So in X.509 certificates, these are the following points are included: version, serial number, signature algorithm identifier, issuer name, that is CA, and a subject name of the owner, and a period of validity from 2 issue unique identifier, subject unique identifier, extension fields, and last one is signature part. So these are the points in X.509. So obtaining a user certificate from CA. These are the concepts already we saw in Unit 3, key distribution and key management. So initially any user with access to the public key of the CA, certificate authority, can recover the user public key that was certified. So no part other than the CA can modify the certificate without this being detected. So obtaining user certificate means initially the user communicate with CA to send some request to generate the certificate for user. So CA develops some certificate and send to A. After that only A communicate with B, receiver, by sending the certificate of user A. Like this is like an obtaining the certificate from the certificate authority. So when usually there are one single CA, certificate authority, they have to be developed a certificate for all user. But when what is the problem occur when there are multiple CAs? Users is one CA are okay, but if there are more than one CAs, then they have to develop the hierarchy format of CA. For example, A is one user, B is one user. So A from X1 is nothing but CA, certificate authority name is X1. So one user from X1 and another user from another CA. So here the user B certificate is useless to A without knowing the second certificate authority, without knowing the public key of X2. So this is the concept, that's why they have to develop the certificate authority hierarchy like this. So here each and every one, U, V, W, Y, X, Y, each and everyone are the certificate authority. So they have to develop the hierarchy for multiple certificate authority. So revocation of certificates, already I said, after the expiration date is over, the certificate have to be revoked from certificate authority. So the user, what is the reason for revocation? The user's secret key is assumed to be compromised. So which means after some point of time the secret key can be attacked by any user, so that only after some point of time the certificate have to be revoked. The user is no longer certified by the certificate authority. For example, like the user A get the certificate from certificate authority for some period of time, for 6 month in the sense, then after 6 months the user is no longer certified by the certificate authority. Again the user communicate with the certificate authority to revocate the certificate, right? So the CA certificate is assumed to be compromised. So these are the reasons for revocation of the certificate. So certificate revocation, including these informations, certificates have period of validity and it may need to revoke before expiry. Before the expiration date, the certificate may have to revoked by certificate authority. And the certificate authority maintained list of revoked certificates, and each and every individual user should check certificates with CA's CRL. CRL is nothing but certificate revocation list, which means certificate authority maintain all list of revoked certificates. That term is known as certificate revocation list. So after revoking the particular certificate by the user, then the user have to check with CRL, certificate revocation list, to verify that the certificate of their own. So authentication procedure, there are three procedures in authentication. One is one-way authentication, and a two-way authentication, three-way authentication. So the word sense, it is very simple. One-way authentication means the user A directly communicate with user B. So identity of A and message is sent from A to B. So the message was intended for B, and it maintains the integrity and originality of message. So two-way authentication, here A communicate with B and again B communicate with A. That is mutual identification. So next one is three-way authentication. Here initially A communicate with B and B communicate with A. Again A communicate with B. So this is the concept of three-way authentication. So X.509, it is an authentication service. So there are some maybe shortcomings are there. So they are developing X.509 version 3. So it has been recognized that additional information to be added in a certificate, that is email. In the previous certificate format, they are not including email, URL or policy details and constraints, right? But X.509 version 3 including these additional informations like email, policy details, URL and constraints, right? Rather than naming new fields defined the extension method. Already said in the certificate model they are including one field like extensions, right? So if we need additional information in the sense, we have to be added in that extension part. So X.509 version 3 adding these email, policy details, constraints in that extension field of X.509 certificate. So the extension includes extension identifier, a critically indicator and extension value. So these are the points to be included in extension version 3. So certificate extensions are used in key and policy information, and certificate subject and issuer attributes, and certificate path constraints. And this is the authentication procedures. The first one is one-way authentication, A to B. Second one is two-way authentication, A to B and B to A. And last one is three-way authentication, A to B, B to A, and final again A to B. So what is mean by authentication applications? Authentication we know. So to enable or to provide authentication, we need some applications to provide service request from client to server. To provide service request by server to a client. So what is the motivation of Kerberos? We see in the first slide why we need Kerberos. So that is the concept here. And what are the disadvantages of Kerberos version 4? There are two disadvantages. One is technical deficiency and environmental shortcomings. And what is mean by REOM? REOM is nothing but single authenticated domain. And last one is what is CA? Certificate authority. It is authorized person to provide certificate for each and every individual user.